It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
You know what time it is. Monday, March 27, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. Braylon Edwards. Good afternoon to you on a Monday, my friend.
Good afternoon, my buddy. As always, I'm seeming to be having some cheer problems today. That's why my levels are a little low. I'll figure it out by the time we get going next
Just do it live on the show.
We'll do it live.
I am.
We'll do it live.
I was going to have a conversation first, and then as one of you gentlemen were talking, then I was going to fix my seat as well as the microphone.
Look at this guy.
Ryan and Maz, what's going on, Tom Mazawey?
Hey, boys. Welcome to a Monday.
You're a lot shorter than you normally were, Braylon. But
this is like Roscoe. This is like Roscoe off Martin.
Good news is if you are listening to audio only, you don't realize that Braylon Edwards is sitting at the kiddie table today.
You still get my very raspy voice. You know, Ryan and Maz, the tournament, we're going to get into it. The tournament for me was kind of boring. It wasn't as good as the first week, which we'll dive into because you talk about it's good in the NCAA tournament, and now that all teams can get to the finals and everybody has a chance, it just makes it more boring. But anyway, we'll get into that. I'm looking for something to watch. I'm looking for something to watch right now. My show Succession came back on. Thank God.
Don't say anything about it.
No,
I had
I'm
no
not.
cable last night. Couldn't watch it.
I won't say anything about Logan Roy.
How do you compare that show to the other great shows? Because I have not watched it.
It's really good. And the one thing about Succession, unlike most shows, is the peak is like 3 to 4. Like 3 seasons is peak for me. I think 2-3 seasons is peak. Everything after that, it either goes downhill, it starts to piss you off, or they didn't finish writing. They're writing it on the fly. But with Succession, it's gotten better each season. Season 2 was better than season 1. Season 3 was better than season 2. So it's going to be interesting how this is. But anyway, trying to find something to watch.
I got something to say about that.
Okay.
Just to fill in on his question.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's a really nice show.
Yeah.
It's a good show. It is not a Breaking Bad.
Right.
It is not a Sopranos. It is not a The Wire.
Right.
Or Wire. Yeah.
Better Call Saul.
And that's going to get to my next point. Like, those shows don't exist anymore. Like, those shows, they won't exist anymore. The problem is it's just such an oversaturated market of stuff. Like, why? Like, what's the difference between this crime show and this crime show? What's different between this podcast and that podcast? What's the difference between, this show that stole Friends model or this show that's stealing Friends model? Like, everything is the same. I'm looking for something new. Like, when Stranger Things came out, 4, 5, 6 years ago, whenever, it was different. Like, there was no shows out like it. So now I am on a hunt. I am on a mission to find something different.
That's pretty darn good.
Different.
Tom Mazawey.
It's the same stuff.
I don't
Comic
disagree
book,
with you.
Like superheroes, villains, like it's all the same stuff.
I don't disagree with you.
Need
Maz,
something
how
new.
you doing, man?
I'm good, Ryan and Bray. I had a great weekend. My wife's away. She's in Nashville with my sisters.
So
they have
the
a
kids
ladies'
will play.
weekend. It's just me and Maddie. And on Saturday, I got to go visit Lily, my oldest daughter.
How's she holding up?
At MSU. She's doing great.
Okay.
She's doing great. It was Dad's Day at her sorority. So what do they have for Dad's Day? What do you think? When you walk in, what food do you think is served for Dad's Day? Pizza. You got it.
Me shots.
Pizza. And you know what? The dads were digging it. We're sitting there. And then the girls, Lily's gang, said, hey, what do you guys think about going bowling? And
Can't say gang in 2024.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's
so
you're in on that.
We find a house just a mile and a half away, and we go to this place. And I'll tell you what, it was one of the best bowling alleys I've ever been to. Had 31 lanes.
What makes it so great?
I'm going to tell you.
Oh, man.
Well lit. People having a great time.
Well-oiled
An
lanes.
arcade. A big arcade.
Yeah.
And a private room that had 8 lanes in it with couches. And you had to, you had to reserve that room. So we didn't bowl in there. And then in the back, they had
VIP.
They had axe throwing. Beautiful axe throwing lanes. And in the back, they had beach volleyball. This place was like my dream
Is it called
place
the Hub?
to own.
Is it a hub?
No, it was a big bowling alley that these people bought
Right.
a few years ago. and they completely changed it around, and it is primo.
That's like the big thing now is the bowling alleys. Like whenever you remodel them, or even when you're just opening them, is you gotta have that arcade, so it kind of has that Dave and Buster's feel to it.
Great
and
arcade.
You start adding other things too, like acts. Like the more you have, the more people can cycle through. Because like frankly,
an escape
people
room.
get bored quick with stuff. You bowl, well, not us, but the average human goes out on a fun night. They bowl half a game, or boy, they're done. So now you got bowling, you have the hub, you have the axe store and all that stuff. Like, it kind of reminds me of Revel and Roll in Ann Arbor.
Well, you mentioned an escape room too.
You mentioned I don't like those escape rooms.
Why not?
I've never been in one.
I'm just not one of those.
One of those what?
One of those clue people. Let me read the clue. Open up, pick up this phone, and underneath this,
But that's why, like, when you do escape room, like I went last time I went to escape room with my
hate
mentor.
the escape rooms.
They have a good one out in Lake Orion. I went with my mentor Dan Russell. This past year, maybe like September, October. But that's why you go with 4, 5, 6 people. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has a role. There's a role for you too. The guy that doesn't want to be a clue guy. You're just the clock guy.
Oh
You're
man, just watch the clock.
Hey, you got 5 minutes. Just throwing that out there.
I could be the clock guy.
You be the clock guy.
I could be the clock guy.
Everybody has a role in the escape room.
In fact, as I think about it now, every time I go to the escape room, I am the clock guy.
There you go.
5 minutes.
What would I be at a golf outing? There's
beer
only
cart
one
guy.
thing.
The heckler.
Beer cart guy.
No, I drive the car.
Yeah,
You drive the
That's
car.
it.
You be the heckler.
That's all I want to do.
Beer cart
Yeah, and
guy.
of course I do the announcing.
You be doing the
I'll
heckler.
do the announcing. I'll do my
Hey,
gym dance.
Braylon.
Do
You
my-
like about to swing, you yelling at me.
So the Final Four is set. I'm not going to talk about it yet.
Who's in it? Fairleigh Dickinson?
But it's weird. It feels almost like the NIT.
Yeah.
Now you see where I was saying? Like,
It's a weird year. And you know what happened? Guys like us, we didn't watch it. Why?
'Cause it stinks.
it's so watered down. And look what happened. Look what
Did
happened.
you see what Charles Barkley said about it too yesterday on 60 Minutes? I mean, college basketball
Is dead.
sucks. College basketball is dead. I will tell you, whether this is good or bad, I watched one college basketball game start to finish all year, and it was Michigan State and Kansas State. Because it was a 6:30 tip, to go
So
to
you
the
waited
Elite
to the
Eight.
tournament to watch a game.
Huh?
You waited to the tournament to watch a game.
I waited until the third round of the tournament to watch a game.
a full basketball
To watch
game.
a full basketball game.
I guess we kind of knew that.
Listen, that's why it's basically you and I having the
But I
conversation.
have no interest in it.
And it's true, and this is why I was telling Maz, it's not that I want to disrespect the kids that are playing today. I'm not disrespecting the smaller schools. I'm not disrespecting the work that they've put in. They've worked. They've earned it. I mean, people talk about FAU. FAU only had 3 losses this year. So they earned the right
They have
to
the most wins in the country.
Oh, 100%. And they're going to be the easiest championship for somebody, whoever gets in there. What I'm watching, the reason why you watch college basketball from the start till 5, 6, 7 years ago, you watch to see who's going to be the new studs in the NBA. Like when you watched in the 80s, oh man, I heard about this Sam Bowie kid. Oh, I heard about this Hakeem Olajuwon kid. Oh, Flash Slammer Jammer, they're supposed to be this. What about this Patrick Ewing kid? Oh, you heard about this freshman at UNC, Michael Jordan. What about this kid in 96 or 95 from Georgetown, supposed to be a ruffian from Virginia? That's AI. You watch to see who's going to be the face of the NBA. It's not that way anymore. Nobody in this tournament is going to be playing the NBA.
But I mean,
nobody in the NCAA tournament is playing the NBA except Brandon Miller.
Listen to me for a second here, too.
Seaway.
And think about, just look at
Star power rules.
Look at my own team here, Michigan, okay? Last year, you got Caleb Houston and
Moussa
Diabate. You're like, okay, these kids are pretty good. They leave. They're gone.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this much. You know how many NBA games I've watched this year from start to finish as well?
0.
Yeah. I have no idea if Diabate or Houston are even playing contributors on rosters at the end of the bench in the G League. I have no idea. You know who else is leaving this year? 1 year. My team, Jet Howard, comes in and goes.
Yeah.
It's really hard under the current climate to be a fan of any of these teams. It just is. You have no connection to them at all other than the name on the front.
Yeah.
And that's not I love Michigan. I love it. But where are the Tim Hardaway Juniors? Where are the Trey Burks? The Glenn Robinson III? I mean, these guys that stayed there for a long time. You can talk to me about Hunter Dickinson all you want. I mean, it just doesn't do it for me.
Give me Mitch McGary every day of the week.
Yeah, I'm not talking about guys. I'm talking about really pro-level guys. I'm not fans of any of these players anymore, and it makes it hard to care enough about the players to care enough about the team.
Remember years ago when Michigan beat Houston on the half-court shot from Jordan Poole?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a team.
Yeah.
Those teams had
Walton
stars.
was on that team. Or Simpson was on that team.
I don't even care, honestly, about the stars, Brandon.
Yeah.
I don't. And usually, I'd be so happy that these underdogs got in. But like you said the other day, yesterday,
it hit you.
I didn't watch. I knew UConn. Once UConn destroyed Gonzaga, to me, I'm like, well, UConn's winning it all. So yesterday, you have Creighton against who'd they knock out?
We don't even remember.
I forgot.
San Diego State.
No, they both made it.
No, Creighton's not in it. Creighton lost to San Diego State.
Okay, you're right. And the reason I hated that game, I just watched the end. They call a foul.
It's despicable.
With no time left on the clock. And you win basically one foul shot the guy hit, and
game
they won.
settled at the line. Terrible.
That was gross. Then the Miami game, I gave up. I thought Texas had it. I go to the bathroom. I come out 10 minutes later, and Miami won by 8.
Testing. Is this thing on? I seem to remember a team that I told you guys to watch out for on Friday. Is Miami.
And they were buried. They were down 11.
Yeah. And the interesting thing, once you do something like that in the tournament, once you have a run like that where you're down and you're kind of nervous for a second, you're like, man, this is the Elite Eight, and here we are, we're down, and you come back, you persevere, you get through it. Something like that battle tests you. Like, they're going to win the national championship, and it's going to be the easiest road that a team has ever.
You think they're going to beat UConn?
Yeah, I think so.
Miami? That's
we're
funny.
holding on to UConn because they're the last big name left.
What I tell you guys at the start of the tournament, by the way.
You like them.
I mean, Jay Billis,
Did I like them or did I say?
Picked them.
I picked them. Thank you.
We are, like, the people that didn't pick UConn, we are holding on to UConn in this tournament because they are the big name brand that we recognize. And UConn, for men's side, isn't even a Tier 1 program in, like, the last 20 years.
I mean, you wish this semifinal was
What
the
is
final,
this?
right? Don't you wish this semifinal Miami-UConn was the final? Or
Like,
do you really want to see San Diego State and Florida? I'm fine with it. I'm fine. I couldn't care less about college basketball at all. Like Kentucky, Kansas, Michigan, Duke, they don't do it for me anymore. I don't even know who these guys are anymore. These players that come in, the good ones go right away. Even the fringe good players. If you think you're good, the only reason, like,
and then they sit in the G League for 10 years.
Right. I mean, is Jet Howard?
No.
I don't think so either. I mean, Jet Howard probably come back to Michigan.
But no.
It almost feels like this is his highest point that he'll be talked about, right? I mean, the longer you play, the more exposed maybe you be. I don't know. I don't want to talk bad about the kid having. No,
it's just a real conversation. Like, he's not someone that when you turn it on, you see it.
If you're that guy, excuse me. If you're that guy in college basketball, you at least get your team to the tournament, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what college basketball is right now.
If you're that guy, that alpha, you can get your team to the tournament.
The way the tournament is now, man, like I can tell you, like, hey man, you're a pretty good player. Like if you're decent, you can get to the elite. You can get to the Elite Eight. You can be a decent team in today's climate and get to the Elite Eight. Like, there are no more stars. I know I keep saying I'm a broken record. Fine, sue me. But you watch the tournament, it's forgettable. What did we talk about before the tournament even started? I forgot that Baylor won the national championship 2 years ago. I can't tell you one player on that team. I can't tell you one. Last year, I almost forgot that Kansas is a returning national champ. I couldn't tell you a player on that team from last year, too, outside of Matherin. But Matherin, like, that's how it is now. But if you go back from 2005 all the way back to the 80s, I can tell every player that was in that Final Four. Who are the big guys? Who are the guys that are going to take over the league?
There is something that happened this weekend that I want to touch on briefly that I thought was so awesome and actually gave me goosebumps. Also, if you're a Michigan State Spartan fan, how are you feeling today? Don't you feel like this one slipped through your fingers a little bit? I want to get to that, plus Lamar Jackson, Detroit Lions win totals, Rashad Phillips, all happening today. But first, a message from Cousins Maine Lobster.
All right, Cousins Maine Lobster brings the best of the Maine coast to Detroit. You got to try their variety of sweet, succulent Maine lobster, the menu items at their 2 rolling food trucks right now, rolling around the city of Detroit. You can find their event schedule at cousinsmainelobster.com or through their mobile app, where you could easily order ahead and earn some rewards. Click on that QR code right on the side of my big mug. It'll take you right to their website, cousinsmainelobster.com.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Hey, something happened in the tournament this weekend that I just thought was fantastic, and we cannot play it for you. We cannot play the audio for you because of the YouTube restrictions. But Kansas State head coach Jerome Tang just lost the game against Florida Atlantic, and Tang went into the Florida Atlantic dressing room, locker room, and just told those kids, there is nobody better we played all year. Stay together, don't get distracted this week, and go win the championship. And I watched that video this week, and it gave me goosebumps. I got goosebumps talking about it now. I just thought, in today's day and age, and we talk about today's day and age, but in today's day and age, that is so special. That is so unique. And if I'm a kid, if I'm a parent considering college, that's the kind of guy I want to go play for. Someone like that.
Got to take on that. Now, this was 100% genuine. I know it was authentic. You can tell that that's how that guy is. You can tell that's how he was raised. He breathes life into these kids. He tells them that. So it was a special moment, and I think it was dope. But that doesn't mean it wasn't methodical. Hear me out. I play devil's advocate. You just lost a huge game. You're on a national scale. People have been watching Kansas State. Kansas State was kind of starting to be a team that people were pulling for, especially after watching Noel at the Garden. Like, this guy's a good coach. He's got his team there. You've just lost, in the Elite Eight. And now here, the cameras are going to be on. You go into the locker room, you give a speech, you give a good speech, you tell them, hey, you guys, you the best team we played. Like, it looks amazing, it sounds amazing. This is the viral age. You know it's going out there. So now it goes out there, it gets viral, it gets Ryan Ermanni.
Why'd you have to ruin this for me?
No, but I'm not saying, it still could be a great moment, but at the same time, when you're smart, you capitalize on the great moments. So it's got Ryan Ermanni coming up here talking about, I got goosebumps talking about it.
You should get him on the night.
Don't you know?
Love that guy.
Especially college basketball now, like, there's no great coaches in college basketball. There's a couple.
Izzo.
Okay, and he just lost again. But you see how you pull a guy that's about to retire. So if you're a AD and you're watching this moment, Ryan Ermanni, you're watching as an AD of a bigger school whose basketball program is struggling right now. He just made himself some money. He just threw his hat in some other schools. Now if I'm a big fish, or I'm in Indiana or a team or a school like that has a cachet, I'm like, hey, yo, give me that coach's info. I want to start to do some homework on him. He might have just got paid because Kansas State ain't going to pay him what a Kansas would pay him.
I got to say this about coaches. How smart was Jay Wright?
Retire?
To get the hell out.
No kidding.
Get his mug with his beautiful suits on TV.
You mean doesn't have to wear a jumpsuit or an overall?
No. That guy dresses to the nines. The best dress coach in college basketball was always Jay Wright. Gets commercials with
clean.
Dove Men's Body Care. This guy, he's the
great
next
on the desk too.
The next Dick Vitale.
Yeah.
Not that
He
exuberant,
energy, though,
but he ain't leaving TV.
The thing about it, though, and there's a reason, Maz, Ryan, I don't believe in coincidence. I don't think you guys believe in coincidences, too. Jay Wright Roy Jones, and Coach K. They all retired.
Roy Williams,
excuse me. They all retired within 365 days of each other.
And don't forget about Jim Boeheim.
He got
whacked. But
to your point,
yeah.
like they all retired the same, like literally 365 days within each other. They know what's coming. Like this is not going to be as sustainable. Like for the Blue Bloods, the Kansas, the Duke, the UNCs, the Kentuckys,
and Jim Calhoun before hit.
Oh, Jim Calhoun. He was out 2-3 years ago.
Right. He handed over to Hurley. He's like, you take it. Go ahead.
100%. You're not going to be able to sustain the type of success that Calipari had 2008 to 2018, where you're going to Final Four every year just because you got the McDonald's. Like they're not coming to college anymore. They're not playing anymore. So now it's going to be a hodgepodge. And if you're really not a good coach, you just was a good recruiter, you will get exposed in this new NCAA format.
Let me ask you about the Michigan State Spartans. I mean, if you wake up this morning and you're a Spartans fan, are you just like, oh, God, one slipped right through our fingers here? I mean, this is you always talk about that second national championship for Izzo. I mean, I know this wasn't one of his best teams, obviously, but, man, it doesn't matter how good or bad you are. But the year in which you're playing, every year is so unique. Yeah. That's why I always talk about the Lions last year. This year might not be like last year. Every year is so unique. They were
peaking.
I mean, if you thought, did a Michigan State Spartan fan at any point during the year feel like this team was capable of winning a national championship? And now you wake up this morning and you're like, damn, we let one slip through our fingers.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. It's almost kind of like, I don't know, it's not like that, but it reminded me. It's kind of like Ohio State, looking at them in the college football playoff. Like they legitimately are looking at the TCU Georgia game like, I can't believe we just botched this national championship. I can't believe we botched it. It's the same thing, man. You look at this tournament, they were playing well at the right time. Tucker was finally starting to be the guy that Izzo had lined him up to be. Hogarth was out there leading. Like Hogarth was the Hogarth they thought he was going to be last year in the tournament. So everything's lined up, and then you just run into a story. Like March Madness has always been about story plots or storylines, etc. You ran into the story, and the story this year was Noel with the Kansas State, and then Keontae Johnson, who transferred from Florida after passing out last year. So you just ran into a storyline.
Pretty incredible stuff.
There's only one coach that never wants to leave, and it's Rick Pitino. But he found himself a great place to go finish his career. He's going to reestablish St. John's in the Big East, and they are going to be – he's going to have them in a Final Four here in the next 5 years.
Yeah,
will it take that long? I don't even know if it'll take that long.
Maybe 3 years.
Right?
Yeah.
1 year, the way this thing is shaping up, you get lucky. Rick Pitino is interesting. I feel like, I think he loves the game. We know he loves, he may have.
And I would love him to be my coach, although I know he's a dirty bastard, but I would still hire him.
It's the women's, man. It's the women's.
So is Nick Saban, but at the end of the day, we all revere him. I think the big thing with Rick Pitino sucks is he's had so much success. But when you bring his name up, it doesn't hit like I'm sure he would want it to. Like, you think of Rick Pitino, you should be thinking about national championship at Louisville, almost won a couple times in Kentucky. But when you think about it, it's the other stuff that comes up. And I think he's just trying to, restore his legacy.
No doubt.
But it'd be great, St. John.
What a place to play your home games. MSG.
That's right. No doubt. Absolutely. Hey, guys, I want to get to the story of the day in the NFL, and that is Lamar Jackson. He put up a series of tweets, 3 tweets today. He said he requested a trade. These are the tweets. If you're watching on YouTube, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com, there they are. A letter to my fans. I want to first thank you for all the love and support you consistently show towards me. All of you are amazing, and I appreciate y'all so much. I want you to know not to believe everything you read about me. Let me personally answer your questions. So he goes on in another tweet to say, in regards to my future plans, as of March 2nd, I requested a trade from the Ravens organization, for which the Ravens has not been interested in meeting my value. Any and everyone that has met me or been around me know that I love the game of football, and my dream is to help a team win a Super Bowl. You are all great, but I had to make a business decision that was best for my family and I. No matter how far I go, where my career takes me, I continue to be close to my fans of Baltimore, Flock Nation, and the entire state of Maryland. You'll see me again. So there you go. Sorry, I was trying to squint my eyes to read that up there.
I should have printed it for you. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Tom.
Sorry.
Appreciate you.
I'll get it for you for tomorrow.
I appreciate it. Thank you. So there you go. Earlier this month, 25 days ago, Lamar Jackson officially requested a trade from the Baltimore Ravens organization, and he wants out. And he is putting it out there specifically now out in the public sphere.
That was a week prior to free agency and the tag, just to let you guys know about the dates.
Oh, I'll do you one better. First of all, for a man of few words, that was a lot. That was a lot for Lamar Jackson. Whenever somebody doesn't talk a lot, you see all that, you're pretty much...
Sometimes the written word is powerful.
Exactly. You're dialed in 100%.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing about it is, did you see the time frame on when his tweet was launched? His tweet went out directly the same time that John Harbaugh was on the podium at the coaches conference, the NFL coaches conference.
The owners' meetings.
It was on purpose. There's bad blood there. Like, there's extremely bad blood between the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. And I think with all the inconsistencies and just like the confusion, like I think we as analysts, I think we as fans, I think everybody's confused. You don't know what Lamar Jackson is really telling the Baltimore Ravens. You don't know what the Baltimore Ravens are really telling Lamar Jackson. And it's come up with, it's just such confusion. Now we're hearing that a friend of his or a person that he knows is calling teams on his behalf. So then the NFL has to come out with a memo to the other 32 owners like, no, you cannot conversate with this guy. He is not allowed to do this. So now Lamar's like, this is BS. And we're like, well, is it? Like, is it not? I mean, I don't think it's true. But at the same time, we don't know. And I think him coming out is like, look, I've tried to be as quiet as I could. I've tried to be as professional as I could be about the situation for long enough. Finally, I got to let you know, I am requesting a trade. I do not want to be here in Baltimore anymore. And I think, to a certain extent, we talked about the colluding, like, kind of like, look, you know what, we're not going to let these guys decide the market and blah, blah, blah. But with this being said, now he's saying, I'm out. I no longer want to be here. I'm requesting a trade. I think as long as the team didn't initiate it with Lamar Jackson, they weren't breaking up the owner code. But I think by him saying, I requested a trade, I want to get out of Baltimore. Well, now if somebody like Dan Snyder went and picked up Lamar, it's different. It's like, well, I mean, he said he wanted to leave. I'm sorry.
Remember last year, right before the playoffs? And he kept putting it off.
Yep.
So he can't play. And then finally John Harbaugh says, they ask him about Lamar, and he's like, I really don't know. And then Lamar says, I'm shut down. He quit.
Yeah.
He quit last year right before the playoffs. He stuck it to them. That's the one thing he did on his way out of town. He'll never play for Baltimore
And they
again.
still almost made the playoffs.
They almost won.
Which is why.
With Tyler Huntley.
Which is one of the only reasons why, when it comes to the Ravens not pulling the trigger on this, that is the only thing I can say, you know what, I kind of understand. They won with Flacco. They won with Trent Dilfer. They almost won with the third-string quarterback against a Cincinnati team we thought were going to win the Super Bowl.
Correct.
What do you make of the Lamar Jackson situation? More on this, but first, a message from the Folding Warehouse.
What the heck's my pin? My folding pin is
it's behind you.
That's all right. Leave it be. You guys know. I'll pretend I'm holding it. Here we go. Get down to the Folding Warehouse. It's down in Hamtramck, Michigan. Thanks. There you go. It's down at the Folding Warehouse in Hamtramck, Michigan. 2 ways to play this game. $12 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation. Only $12, Ryan. Or a private lane reservation, 2 hours, $120, but you can put 10 or 12 people on a lane. So you could spread that money out, less than $10 ahead. If you're thirsty, they got multiple full bars and over 100 beers on that beer menu. Plus the $2 mystery beer machine. How about food? Bring your own in.
Ooh, yeah.
They don't mind. Have a picnic if you'd like. Even have it delivered.
They're cool.
Get your fold on at foldingwarehouse.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh, wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
You're about to be shell-shocked. The catch of the day is in. Big Boy Seafood Fest is officially back. Join us for some of your favorites like our popcorn shrimp and pike perch platters and our classic fish and chips. This year, we've reeled in some fresh catches like our shrimp Alfredo, shrimp stir fry, and our fish sandwich. And especially, don't forget about our all-you-can-eat Friday night fish fry buffet. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Planet Fitness is home to the judgment-free zone where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere with tons of equipment, a full-body workout in a 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. But the best part about all this, you get it all just for $10 a month.
Only $10?
Yes,
Only $10?
Only $10, guys. Your fitness is essential and a key part of your physical and mental well-being. Join in club today, or as always, check them out online at planetfitness.com.
Hey guys, welcome back, WoodwardSports.com. Lamar Jackson, the story of the day, he puts out on Twitter that he has requested a trade from the Baltimore Ravens organization. Did so on March 2nd, that's 25 days ago, and crickets since that time. Now, what leverage does Lamar Jackson have, if any, to be honest with you? Because the Baltimore Ravens essentially called him on his bluff and said, we will allow you to assign the non-exclusive franchise tag. You go out and get the deal that you want, and he hasn't got one offer yet. I think he's doing this to put public pressure on the Ravens organization to get him out of there. That's the only reason, because Lamar Jackson's going to need a little bit of help here because he has no leverage outside of saying, hey, I'm not going to play football next year, and I'm not. Lamar Jackson isn't on a third or fourth contract. He didn't already get paid. So are you really not going to play for $35 million next year?
No.
I mean, and if the answer is no, the answer is no. But this seems to be a very tricky situation right now because around the league. And I don't know this is just my opinion because of the lack of assumed interest in Lamar Jackson. He doesn't have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a lot of friends right now. So today's price is not yesterday's price. So this is a really, really tricky spot for Lamar Jackson. I am a fan of his. Wouldn't mind seeing him here in Detroit. But this is one storyline. I am almost putting the Lamar Jackson storyline in the same camp is the Aaron Rodgers. Two storylines I'm just totally sick of.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely sick of both storylines, but this is what we do. This is what we have to talk about. You know, just when you're like, hey, you know what? That's easy on Lamar Jackson stuff today. Boom. He shoots out the tweet, so we got to talk about it. It is a very tricky spot. You know, one thing about the NFL, like, unless you're just a mega talent, like, unless you're, you know, that Nick Bosa, or unless you're Patrick Mahomes, or you're Josh Allen, like, just because you're good doesn't mean you're going to get paid. It's not necessarily about you being that good. It's when you come up. It's what the team looks like when you're ready to sign. Like, what are the situations? Who's coming up next year? What are you drafting this year? And I think Lamar Jackson falls, like, into that. Like, it's just a bad situation for him. But I don't know what's going to happen with this situation. Like, you want to say, oh, you know what? It'll happen. He'll get paid, or somebody will pick him up. It's not looking good. And then if no one picks him up, Ryan Ermanni, he's not going back to Baltimore. Like, that situation is over. So now here you're Baltimore. You got Lamar Jackson on your team. You owe him, what, $37 million, and he's not going to play for you. Now you run the risk of him just retiring and sitting out. It's an ugly situation and an interesting, weird situation for both, because I can see Lamar Jackson just – because in today's – like society, you can make money a bunch of different ways. Like, guys can go different routes or whatever. He just seems like the type of individual, like, if it doesn't go right, like, he'll stand on his pride. He'll stand on wanting to, this is what I deserve. This is what was owed to me. You want to treat me like this? I don't need this game.
Let me ask you, Brian, can he do this if worse comes to worse and he doesn't get traded? he'll say, okay, I'll sign the tender. You owe me X amount of dollars this year.
$35 million.
Then he goes to training camp, and he feigns an injury.
Nah, because then they'll have a case against him and they can sue him. It'll be kind of like the same.
Yeah, but what's to say what hurts him and I can't play?
Because
I can't. Oh, mental illness.
Well,
pull the Ben Simmons out.
Well, that one thing about that is this ain't the NBA. Like the NFL.
That's why I'm asking.
And no, the NFL ain't going for that. The NFL takes care of theirs, and what I mean by theirs is their owners. If Lamar Jackson tried to, let's say Ben Simmons was faking, wink, wink.
He's out for the year, by the way.
Yeah, 100%.
Get out of here.
Man, he's still collecting the bag. Yeah. So, there's only 7 games left though. But
he was out like 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, like the NBA, like they don't have any power over those players. Like Ben Simmons says, I got mental health. He's got mental health. They're gonna pay him. The players own that league. You can't try that SHIT in the NFL. It don't work like that. They're gonna put you through 1 million doctors, all on the owner's payroll. They're gonna say, all right, why do you have mental health? Take me through the steps. How did you get here? If I was
I'm just scared to
and
play.
Not only that, but I'll tell you, not only that, but this isn't about $35 million. I don't think Lamar Jackson. Yes, exactly. That's exactly right.
I know, but I want my money.
I know, but he's not getting his money if he's out there faking injuries and not playing.
Yeah.
No owner in their right mind is going to pay a guy $200 million that's out here faking injuries and not playing for his team.
And you know what, man? You just said something, and Ryan, this triangle conversation, it kind of let me thought about something else. The owners know that Lamar Jackson was on that BS the last 5 games of the season. And what I mean by BS is they effed him during not paying him. But like Ryan Ermanni said, well, don't step on the field before the season starts. Don't wait until December. What I said. Don't wait until December to now all of a sudden take a stance. Mm-hmm. And I'm not trying to be critical of Lamar Jackson. I'm just being honest in what I see.
He should have taken my advice.
1,000%. And now owners see that. Like, owners see that. The owners that know what happened, which is all in, like, I mean, I get it. I understand it. He's mad. He's upset. They played him, but he just quit on his team. Like, I'm not, like, that's not a guy I'm giving up 2 first-rounders for. That's not, like, even though he's this amazing kid and we know he's a leader, we know he's a guy that comes in the locker room and, like, people respect and love and he's about ball. They just watched him quit on a team that was going to make the playoffs. I don't want him on my team. This is me playing devil's advocate.
But he gets a brand new start.
But at the same time, that is in your DNA. Like that is in your DNA. You're not your worst moments, so you're not your biggest mistakes, but they're still in your DNA.
You know, the one thing, and Braylon, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong on this, and I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. But the one thing you have to be, if you're going to get paid in the NFL, in my opinion, you have to be somewhat stable. People have to view you as stable. And right now, the Lamar Jackson thing feels like a sideshow. He, whether it's his mom negotiating for him, whether he's negotiating for him, whether the league is sending out, don't negotiate with this person alleging that they're representing Lamar Jackson, to now the tweet, to the franchise tag, to the fake injury or whatever it was last year, whether it wasn't fake or not. He didn't play, the way that communication went. It feels like a little bit of a sideshow, and teams are not going to give up 2 draft picks. Teams are not going to give you $150 million guaranteed if they don't believe they can trust you, if they don't believe you are not going to be a high drama person. And that's really, right or wrong, that's really kind of where it's trending here with Lamar Jackson. And it's sad because I feel like a lot of this is extremely avoidable.
Yeah, in every the 4 majors, like the guys that get paid, like they're supreme talent, they're elite talent, they're the highest talent, and also they had that stability. Look, players are basically their own corporations. They're their own CEOs. Like, you want to have a guy like Patrick Mahomes. Like, not only is Patrick Mahomes a great quarterback, the best quarterback in the league by far, not only is he that, he's always there. Doesn't do much. He's in Kansas City. He's building with his team. Guys like that, they're viewed, like you said, as stable. Those are the guys that get the long deals. Those guys, a lot of times, get
Matthew Stafford.
100%. Well, you know he was going to be here. Like, you didn't know if he was ever going to win a playoff game, but you knew he was going to be available. Like,
I thought he was.
You knew he was going to be available. You knew he was going to. He's a quiet personality. You can trust him. Teams want players that they can trust. If I'm giving up $250 million, I got to be able to know that everything is good. I can't have any doubts. That's a great point.
I don't think you can do this story, though, and not talk about where Lamar Jackson is going to play next. And, because of the talent, because he's a 26-year-old former MVP of the league, you have to look at it. You would be doing a disservice to your organization if you don't at least look at it. And as the odds makers in the NFL or the odds makers in Vegas look at it, look where those Lions are. The Detroit Lions have the 4th best odds on PointsBet Sportsbook to get the services of Lamar Jackson. And it's not like some going far and away leader in the clubhouse. The Colts, plus 225. The Patriots are next, plus 450. Then you have the Falcons at plus 600 and the Lions at plus 650.
He would scare the daylights at him if he went to the Patriots. And I'm not saying they have a lot of talent.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
You got Lamar Jackson. You
might
can
even be the perfect spot for him, to be honest with you. Might even be the perfect spot for him.
You got Belichick.
Yeah, you get Lamar Jackson to the New England Patriots. You can find some wins. You can find some talent. Like, the one thing about it is, I think Lions fans, like, because they're so on Jared Goff. They're so on Jared Goff, like us. Like, Jared Goff, and, last year you played well, and I got some stuff to that as well. But every time you bring up Jared Goff, like, everybody's like, oh, no, Lamar Jackson, don't bring him in. No, that's not. We don't want Lamar Jackson. We got Jared Goff. Let me play devil's advocate for you right now. When you have a quarterback, in terms of winning a championship, like Patrick Mahomes or these guys, you winning the championships, you got to have a quarterback that you feel can win you games if he needs to in a pinch. Like Jared Goff, you give him a good offensive line, you give him some time in the pocket, you give him a good system, you give him a wide receiver that's very dependable, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, you give him a couple, play actions here and there, you get the ball down the field, he's great. But Jared Goff, he hasn't proved anything on the road. He hasn't proved offensively on the road that he can dominate. He's not a guy that I believe can go out and win you a game by himself. I'm talking about when your receivers are banged up, the running back is having a little bit of case of fumbleitis. He's out there leading. He's taking you to war. He's the guy that's going to win the game. If Lamar Jackson signed with the Detroit Lions, he instantly, this is the outside public's review, he instantly makes your team better. He instantly makes you better by 3 to 4 wins. Like his winning percent is 75% win since he's been a starting quarterback in the NFL. I will say that again, 75% win total since he's been a starting quarterback in the NFL. You know his elusiveness. You know the shock value that the fans get, and you know he's a leader. And you know that he's there. And you know he's getting better. Every year he works with that quarterback coach out there in California. Every year he spends a little bit more time with him. He instantly makes your team better. Your odds instantly change to win the NFC Championship, to even get to the Super Bowl. That's why they have him at 4 on that points bet, because everybody on the outside sees what the Lions can be. The Lions on the inside, though, we see Jared Goff, and we can't look at that.
Here's the question every NFL team has to ask that needs a quarterback and that picks high in the draft. I'll have that for you next. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. That's right, Les Stanford has expanded their brands into Ferndale, a trusted name for over 55 years. Les Stanford Buick GMC. You can get the same great service that customers have come to know. You can go check them out on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. Of course, looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, standing strong for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella. LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
At Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, give Alta Rental a call and call them today. 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO, the number 2, Alta.
Guys, talking about Lamar Jackson. It's the story of the day in the NFL today. He put out on Twitter that he has requested a trade from the Baltimore Ravens, and now you have to look at it around the league and say, where is he going? The Colts are the leaders right now, plus 225. Patriots second, Falcons third, and the Lions have the 4th best odds to get Lamar Jackson. That's according to PointsBet.
Even with Jared Goff?
Even with Jared Goff,
oh,
yes.
Man.
I'm shocked.
The next MVP of the league. I will say this. I saw Adam Schefter on SportsCenter earlier today, or Get Up, or whatever, talking about this, and he posed this question, and I think it's a good one, and it's the one that really every NFL team has to ask, but specifically teams at the top, like the Indianapolis Colts, or even the Carolina Panthers, whoever needs a quarterback. Is it worth it to you to trade the assets and pay the money for Lamar Jackson, or draft a quarterback that you believe in, you have him for 5 years on a rookie deal, and build up every other area of your team? Because there is no greater advantage in the NFL than when you have a quarterback, a good quarterback, on a rookie deal. There is no greater advantage in the National Football League than when you have a good quarterback on a rookie deal. So I pose that question. That's a really tough one, I think, to ask, because we see what's happening around the league. Teams don't have a lot of money to spend if you're paying $40, $50 million for a quarterback. And is Lamar Jackson that guy? Are you okay? Is AR-15, Anthony Richardson a guy? C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young. You know, I mean, would you give up assets to get Lamar or take this player in the draft? That is,
if I'm side note, that's a hell of a nickname. AR-15.
Yeah, right. I don't know if that's an appropriate nickname anymore, to be honest with you, but
very true.
Yeah,
I was just about to tell you my favorite nickname. I might as well save that. It's a basketball player played for Utah Jazz. You'll figure the rest out. I think if you look at it from this point of view, for the Carolina Panthers, if I'm looking at it and I'm assessing the situation, it's like, and playing devil's advocate once again, it's rookie deal, the 5th-year option on quarterback, the upside of what this guy could be. You're looking at all these things, young, healthy, fresh, versus when you're looking at Lamar Jackson. You've seen what Lamar, let's just say you looked at it and you graded his 5 years and you've seen what he has. Not the best performances in the playoffs. Now, that's not all on him. That's not all on him. They haven't necessarily provided him with the wide receivers. His running backs have never made it to the playoffs, so it's definitely not all on him. But you've seen him not necessarily be great. Then you also seen the injuries pile up. Lamar Jackson, he's starting to take more and more hits. He's starting to do more things. Remember he did the front flip in the end zone and he tweaked his knee? Like, that's something he did. Like, remember he put on 20 pounds last year. So he was a little slower, a little bigger. You know what you do when you put on muscle? Now you think you're stronger. You know what you do when you think you're stronger? You take hits on purpose, because you want to show that you're strong. You're not necessarily going out of bounds. You're taking more hit. Look at a quarterback in Buffalo he's Mr. Unstoppable. He takes all the hits, and he's 6'6", and he can run you over. And you saw what happened to his elbow last year. You saw what happened to him running in the playoffs last year. Started to look like he's taking those hits. They're going to restructure their whole offense in Buffalo, by the way, so they keep him in the pocket. But anyway, going back to Lamar, he's been injured. You see him quit on his team. Playoff numbers, and this is devil's advocate. If I'm looking at that, I'm kind of like, I think I'll just be better off just drafting C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young. Like, at the end of the day, I think I'd be better off with them. 4 years, worst case scenario, C.J. Stroud doesn't work out, but we win a division, we make it to the playoffs. Worst case with Bryce Young, he only makes a couple Pro Bowls, and we have to get another quarterback in year 5. But so what? You've basically got the franchise going in the right direction. So I wouldn't get Lamar Jackson if I was Carolina. It's just too much of the injuries and the other stuff. And like you said, Ryan, it's a bleep show.
I know, but the Colts. We're talking the Colts here, who are picking third or fourth.
It's the same.
Now they're going to get the third quarterback, or do you take a top 5 NFL quarterback that's got to get paid, but you're getting a top 5 quarterback and he's still young?
If I'm the Colts, Lamar Jackson just doesn't seem like a fit in Indianapolis. This is about to be funny. Like, you go from Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning and Jim Harbaugh and Jeff George, Lamar Jackson. I don't know about that.
You know where he does feel like a fit?
Yeah, right here.
Washington Commanders.
Well, I think that is a legitimate opportunity. If they weren't going to be up for sale, I don't know if you hamstring. I don't know if that's a possibility, being up for sale. But where he does feel like a little bit of a fit here, the Patriots at plus 450. You got to think about how desperate Bill Belichick is, too. Bill Belichick, in 3 seasons without Tom Brady, is 25-25 with 0 playoff wins. If he doesn't win a playoff game this year, if he doesn't make the playoffs this year, I think he's out. You've got a desperate head coach over there, and you've got a desperate quarterback in Lamar Jackson. A little bit. It feels like Lamar's a little bit desperate. Wouldn't it be a perfect marriage to put old school Bill Belichick, put these two guys together? They can help each other out. Yeah. They can help repair both each other's image. Put them together and move forward.
He had Cam.
Yeah,
he
but
liked Cam too.
He had Cam at the end of his career.
He liked Cam
couldn't
too.
play. Cam can't play. Cam is not Lamar Jackson.
Hey, look, man, don't you be dogging my boy Cam.
Cam is fine, but Cam Newton is not Lamar Jackson.
His highlight tape his throwing tape gave me some.
I do feel like New England feels like a really good fit for Lamar, and Lamar feels like a good fit for New England.
It does. I mean, you like I said, just same thing with Detroit. You put Lamar on the team, he's instantly going to enhance your win totals by 3. He's instantly going to be there. Now they didn't have any playmakers last year, anybody to run the ball with. You got both and one player essentially. And
hold on, Brett. Can they trade him?
Yeah. You're talking about can
instead of doing the old, I'm going to sign the contract, I get 2 number 1s. Can they get a 1 and maybe Mac Jones? Or is that out now?
No, because he's on that restriction. If they want him, they got to give up.
So it's got to be just 2 picks, no players.
Yeah, 2 picks.
Because if I'm Baltimore, I want to get Mac Jones.
That's not bad. That's not bad as well. I mean, I told you, like, they've won with worse. They've won with worse, and he showed
I like Mac Jones.
He showed you he can get to the playoff. He showed you he can be a quarterback that makes the right throw, makes the right decision, and they didn't really. I mean, he's been in offensive coordinator hell since he's been there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that move with Mac Jones, but
I don't know if it's allowed.
It's allowed for 2 picks, like the stipulations say. But that would be interesting. I just think Bill's too stubborn. I think when you've don't get me wrong. Like, he likes players like, Randy Moss. You've seen the infamous footage of Randy Moss talking about wanting to throw a Halloween party. And Bill said, and Bill dressed up. And Bill went to the party. Like, man, who knew Bill and Randy Moss? You wouldn't think that happened. So there is a level of that with Bill Belichick, but I don't think it's to the level of, like, signing Lamar Jackson, as he's kind of like in his last 2-3 years, unless he's just really trying to stick it to him. I just don't see
Play this out for me. Bill Belichick calls Lamar Jackson and says what?
Well, hey, I want you to play here. I want to win a Super Bowl with you.
Did you see Creed 3?
You want to win a Super Bowl with me, Lamar?
Not bad.
You want to play for the Patriots?
But you know what's crazy about that, Ryan, is if this would have been 5 years and past, like, if Bill Belichick called anybody, like, the answer is yes. Like, as long as you go, like, meet my price or get somewhere near it. I mean, I sacrifice, I'm saying $1 million or a couple $100,000, like, to win. But any time before that, you calling the player, like, players coming like, oh yeah, I'm going to get the Super Bowl ring. Oh yeah, I'm going to play with Tom. Oh yeah, I'm going to get coached by Belichick. Now, because keep in mind, when Tom was there, they got beat in the playoffs. So he was losing with Tom, lost in the playoffs. Now they can't get, they go to the playoffs and get embarrassed 2 years ago. Don't make the playoffs. He hires Matt Patricia. Like, he's losing it. So, like, if he calls me, I'm like, this is who? What you want?
Go ahead, Bill.
Be like, what you want?
Hey, Bill,
Like,
go ahead, convince me.
hey
Bill.
man, stop playing on my line. I thought this was what's this, John Lynch? Get out of here.
Come on, you got Lamar on the phone. Go ahead.
Hey,
I hang up on Bill Belichick in today's day and age.
hey, Lamar, come play for the Patriots. I think we could be pretty good.
Like, nah, I'm cool on that. Like, it comes between me and you.
cool
Like,
on that.
Like, who's our offense? Juju Smith-Schuster? I'm cool.
Right? Who's
I'm
that
cool.
one? I had no wide receivers.
Yeah,
in Baltimore.
Exactly. I could just stay. I can stay with Bateman and Duvernay.
We had no skill players. At least we got Mark Andrews.
Man, you know what?
Gronk coming back.
Hey John, I'm sorry. Hey John, I'm sorry. Let me back.
You still got Gronk. Oh man,
You ain't got no grunt.
Hey, the win totals are out in Vegas for the NFL next year. Little bit scary if you're a Lions fan. I'm going to tell you why. We'll do it next. Are we too optimistic here about the Detroit Lions? I was shocked when I saw the win total. But first, the message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. That's right. You can walk into a Lady Jane's right now because they're open on Mondays. They're open every day of the week, 7 days a week. You can get yourself an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Lady Jane's are open 7 days a week, several locations locally here in the Metro Detroit area, several more around the country. There is a Lady Jane's near you. Find one. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I've lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Welcome back, WoodwardSports.com, hour number 2 of the program. If you are listening audio only, we appreciate it. Podcast form whenever you're listening, whether it's Apple Podcasts or Google Play, however you're consuming Woodward Sports, we certainly appreciate it. Subscribe to the Ermanni and Edwards with Maz program on Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star review if you could. Tell a friend about Woodward Sports. As we open up hour number 2 here, I think this is intriguing. My eyes kind of did the old pop out a little bit when I saw this win total.
Before you say it, go around the room and just ask each one of us what we honestly thought it would be. And I just talked about this yesterday at the volleyball tournament I was at with a couple of the dads. And they asked me, what do you think the number's going to be?
I honestly thought the win total for the Lions in Vegas was going to be 11.5.
And I thought it was going to be 10 or 10.5.
And Braylon, do you have a thought on what you thought it would be?
Like what the line would be?
What the win total in Vegas?
Like the over-under.
Over-under wins.
What do you think Vegas said?
You thought it was going to be 9.5?
9.5.
Okay.
I thought it'd be 9.5.
All right, what do you got, Fletch?
Or I think it's 9.5.
I think I'm probably with Bray more than anything, 9.5.
Okay, maybe I'm the dummy.
Come on to the winning side.
JB?
I'll go with 10.5.
10.5. So a lot of it, I'm throwing around 12-5, 13-4 type records when I look at the schedule. Well, the Vegas win total for the Detroit Lions is out. They have it at 9.5.
Hey, look at that.
9.5 over under, and that can only when they do this,
you got
I'm not going to put it at 100% chance.
Right.
But there is, as a longtime former gambler, as a longtime former gambler, there is, and Maz, you can back me up on this.
You know it.
There is an 80% chance that the Lions win total will be one of two numbers. Maz, what will it be?
9 or 10.
That's it. An 80% chance that the Lions win total this year will be 9 or 10.
Yeah.
So you're telling
Maz, do you think that 80% likelihood is there? How would you characterize that?
I'm gonna take the over, and usually I would take the under. Last year it was 6.5, and I said two numbers. It's either 6 or it's 7. So last year they broke the mold.
They broke the mold,
and that was the first time they've broken the mold in years.
First time they've broken the mold in years.
Wow.
So now Vegas is throwing 9.5 out there.
9.5 out there.
Suckers, man.
They might change it by the time camp starts. I believe it will trend up to 10 because I believe the Lions are going to take a lot of money on the over. So what do they do?
A lot of money on the over.
So what are they going to do? Push the number up a little bit. Right, Ryan?
That's exactly what they get. So when you get money on something.
Yeah, explain this from the betting side of things, because I'll tell you why from the football side of things.
So Vegas has one goal.
Get your money.
Yes, but not
bets on both sides.
Not to have all the money on one thing and then just root for the other thing to happen. They want an even amount of money.
They want the VIG.
On both sides. They're just looking for their 10%.
Gotcha.
So they don't lose their skins.
Gotcha.
They don't lose their shirts.
Now, back in the 16-game season, guys, I don't have to tell you this, the number always used to be 7.5 to 8 because the Lions are a 500 team or worse. Very rarely were they better than a 500 team. So you can always depend on the Lions right down there in the middle.
7, 8, or 9.
That's it. Those are your choices.
I mean, that's really what it is.
Those are your choices.
But, so, yeah, I mean, I think this is a number that is going to draw a lot of money on the over. And anytime,
for sure.
And anytime you have the public all on one side of it.
Yeah.
Look out below.
The public will all be on the Detroit Lions over the 9.5. And you know what usually happens?
Under.
When all of the bets are on one side?
The other.
Vegas don't look like that for a reason, because people are winning.
The light bulbs are still flashing.
So are we overvaluing the Detroit Lions locally, nationally, because we want it so bad? Are we overvaluing what they did the last 10 games of the season? Are they more like the last 10 games of the season? Are they like the first 7 games of the year? Or is it somewhere in the middle? Because, Braylon, if it is somewhere in the middle, they're a 9-10 win football team.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to go out and prove it again. Like, and that's why whenever we have this conversation, I'm always the voice of reason in terms of trying to keep you Lions fans humble and keep you guys honest. It hasn't happened before where the Lions just become this team that just jump out and win 12 and they met all expectations and all the optimism that people have. Like, every scenario that we do, yes, the Lions are building the right way. The Lions are bringing in the right players, the right players for the right price points. They're making the right rules and setting themselves up nice for the draft. This will be the 3rd draft in a row, and they've had 2 previous good drafts. So, yes, they're going in the right direction. But with that said, that doesn't mean they have to get to the right direction. Jared Goff is still not proven. I keep talking about it. Jared Goff, you're still trying to figure out if Jared Goff is the guy. You're still trying to figure out what the hell DeAndre Swift is going to do. Where's the picket there? What are we going to do with the David Montgomery? Like, is the offense going to gel? Is Jameson Williams going to be that thing? You know, like, how's the tight end situation? Do they, so it's still a bunch of ifs. We believe because they've shown us and they've been consistent in showing us that they're different, that they're changed. You don't win 8 out of 10 games at the end of a season because you made a mistake. You don't do that's not accident. This is the NFL. Like, it's hard to win in the NFL. I don't care how good you are. So they're going the right way, but at the same time, I mean, it's still the NFL. You still got some hard games coming up. There's still some different looks on the schedule. I mean, you got to go against Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. Who knows what that machine is going to look like this year? You got Jimmy Garoppolo in Vegas. I mean, I don't think they're going to be good, but you just never know. You got Patrick Mahomes. You got Minnesota over there. What the hell is going to happen with Green Bay? Is Chicago Bears really beefing that team up with Justin and the moves they made? So every year is a new year, and every week is a new week. So 9.5 makes sense to me.
Yeah, and I'd be disappointed. I'll tell you right now, I would be disappointed with 9 wins or 10 wins. I think they win 11. I mean, I'd be disappointed with 10 wins. 11 is my bare minimum. I really believe that. 11-6 is my bare minimum win total. At least my expectation for the Detroit Lions. That's what I expect to win a division championship. It's going to take at least 11 wins. I think they are better than the 3 teams in their division, Braylon.
Yeah, I believe so too, but at the same time, it's just wait and see, kind of get out there and see. Ryan, there is a difference though. Like when you win 11, when you win double digits, or when you start to get away from 10, when you get to 11 versus 9, it's a big difference in the attitude. It's a big difference, and your team is better. I remember being the Jets. We snuck into the playoffs in 2009. We were 9-7. We felt like 9-7. We felt like we were scrappy. We can win some games. We're gonna lose some games. We're gonna make some mistakes. We're gonna have some lucky stuff happen for it. When we were 11-5, I felt like we could beat every team in the NFL, and that's that step that the Detroit Lions are taking. They want to become that 11 or now 12-5 or 11-6. It takes the next step.
How do they compare to these other teams that are valued at 9.5? I'll give you the team. You tell me if the Lions are better or worse. The Jets are at 9.5.
I think the Lions are better than the Jets.
Jets.
They feel very close.
Who's the quarterback? Because this is why I have
It's going to be Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, so if it's Aaron Rodgers, it's the Jets. Like the Jets finished top 10 in defense last year. They got the offensive rookie player of the year last year.
You're right.
Brees Hall has become back Jets.
Yes,
Jets.
I'll agree with you.
Okay, I'll say Jets.
Because it's Rodgers over Goff.
Yeah.
Next.
To your logic.
The Saints with Derek Carr, 9.5.
Lions.
Yeah?
Lions, because the Saints usually rely on defense. And last year I had the Saints defense in fantasy football, my first experience. So I kind of got excited. The defense sucked last year, and that's been the thing that's kept them good. So, I say Lions.
Lions.
Ready?
Yeah.
Cowboys, 9.5.
Lions.
Really?
I think the Lions are better than the Cowboys.
I think okay.
Cowboys.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I got to go Cowboys. Stephon Gilmore, Trayvon Diggs, Micah Parsons, and
This one is the shocker to me. Ready?
CeeDee Lamb,
Dolphins,
Tony Pollard.
9.5.
I think the Dolphins are better, but the Dolphins and the Jets play in much more difficult
they're gonna kill each other.
schedules.
Yeah.
They play in a tougher, flat-out conference. So,
how about that division?
Yeah,
Bills,
the
Dolphins,
division,
Patriots, Jets.
So while I think the Dolphins are a better team, I don't think that, if you're just looking at pure numbers, I think the Lions have a better chance of going over the 9.5 than the Dolphins do. I mean, I think they both probably will, but Tua is still their quarterback. They, too, are an injury away from having a crap season.
If you ask me who's the smarter bet on, would it be the Dolphins or the Lions? The answer is the Dolphins. Keep this in mind. Last year in the playoffs, they scored 34 points with Skylar Thompson, their quarterback.
Yeah.
When you got Tyreek Hill and freaking what's his name, Waddle on the other side doing the Waddle, you got a chance to win every game. And even at the end, because you have that, we saw how many times we see that with the Chiefs, where game's over, but oh, by the way, you got Tariq running by everybody. So I would go with Dolphins.
Doughboy Steve on the chat said, but we beat the Jets in Jersey last year. Yeah, but not with Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback.
Good. See, this is where fans this is where fans like they
forget.
They get to me. Like they see the win and they forget the game. Did you forget Jared Goff? I don't think threw for over 160 that game. And all of that was on the one play.
But I thought Jared Goff was going to the Hall of Fame, Bray.
Exactly, but that was one play by Brock Wright.
We don't need a quarterback.
Zach Wilson, and obviously your secondary has got much better. Zach Wilson was like getting benched. He became the third-string quarterback.
Yep.
And then that week,
White QB'd.
Then that week he went from the third-string quarterback to the starting quarterback against the Detroit Lions and had 300+ yards. Yeah. Come on, Detroit, don't bring up that Jets game.
Here's the next 9.5. You ready? The L.A. Chargers.
I think the Lions are better than the Chargers. And again,
I love you.
And again, I do. I think the Lions are better than the Chargers. And then look at the Chargers division, man. I mean, you've got the defending
got the Raiders
champs.
And the Broncos, though.
You've got the and I think the Broncos are going to be a lot better this year than they were last year.
I think so too. But right now, we're where they're at right now.
Maybe. I don't know. I think.
All right.
I think the Broncos are a sleeper to make it to the Super Bowl.
I take the Chargers, and that's because of the coaching situation.
I don't think they're.
I'm taking him with Justin Herbert.
Yeah. But you got Justin Herbert, and quiet as it's kept. Kellen Moore, he's mundane, he's quirky, blah, blah, blah. The Cowboys have been the number one offense in the NFL. I know it didn't even sound right. They've been number one offense in the NFL for the last 3 years.
Wow. And the last 9.5 win total team is the Cleveland Browns.
What I tell you about them Browns? Everybody's forgetting
That's a
about
high
the
number
Browns.
for them.
That's a real high number for them. Everybody wants to poo-poo the
They're
Browns.
you know what everyone's going to do? They're going to bet the under.
Yep. Everybody wants to poo-poo the Browns. Yep. I'm telling you, that team is going to be scary.
They are.
They got a running game and a really good quarterback. If that quarterback, Deshaun Watson, can be 75 to 80% of what he was in Houston, that team is going to be dangerous.
Elijah Moore just came over from the New York Jets. You know how good that he can be. Amari Cooper is still there. I don't know what the hell the Cowboys were thinking. Donovan Peoples-Jones started to come into his own a little bit. Shout out to Michigan. And Njoku finally is getting healthy. And Njoku's a bad tight end, the tight end out of Miami. And then obviously you got Chubb. You still have Hunt. And like you said, it's all on 4. Can Ford come back to what he was in Houston?
I'll tell you what the number would be with the Lions if they had Lamar Jackson.
What's the number?
10.5.
Ooh, a whole game?
A whole game.
Oh, man.
Maybe 11.
Oh, that'd be something else.
Don't you think?
I don't know, man.
Come on.
I don't know.
No, I mean, really. Think about it on the break.
I think they would be the favorites to win the NFC if Lamar Jackson was the Detroit Lions quarterback. I do. I think they would be the favorites, whether they won it or not. Yeah. I think they'd be the favorites because you know why? He'd be the best quarterback in the NFC.
Not named Jalen Hurts.
I'd still take Lamar Jackson over Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts went to the Super Bowl.
Lamar Jackson, yeah, but Lamar Jackson's an MVP of this league. It's very difficult to be an MVP of a league.
Hurts would have been MVP had he not gotten hurt.
Huh?
Hurts would have been MVP.
Yeah,
Hurts would have been MVP last year had he not gotten hurt.
Yeah. No. Look, man, I don't want the Lions fans that I really just started becoming a part of. I want to push them away. Like I'm still on the Lions team. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. There's a reason why there's pushback because you got to see it. You got to see it consistently before you believe it. You know what I'm saying? Like for us to have one playoff win in 60 years. You see why I'm a little hesitant?
Hey, there's some rule changes that are being discussed right now at the owners' meetings in Phoenix.
The refs fired?
The Lions have proposed 3 rule changes. There's also one regarding the punt team. I want to ask you about this. I'm really into these rules because I think the game has the ability to be a lot better than it is right now.
There's too many rules.
Absolutely. But first, a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
Yes, sir. Chili Peppers Tanning, 27 locations throughout the Metro Detroit area. So there's no excuse for you to not to get down there, get looking good, and get that vitamin D on your skin. If you join the Pepper Club at Chili Peppers, they're gonna beat all competitors by $5 on unlimited tanning. That's right, they're gonna beat them all by $5 on unlimited tanning. Plus, you get the cleanest salons in the D, the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters, ChiliPeppersTanning.com.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Get a shot up. This is for the win.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
WoodwardSports.com. Thanks to everybody who is watching. If you are watching on YouTube, we appreciate it. Give us a like. If if you could. Helps YouTube push our content out. We'd appreciate that. Braylon, I'm interested in rule changes. The NFL owners meeting in Phoenix right now, and among the rule changes they are seeing, there's a lot to discuss, and the Lions have actually proposed a couple of rule changes themselves. And one of those rule changes is expand the coach's challenge system to include personal foul calls on the field. Now, I want to stop there. We'll take them one at a time.
I like that.
Love it. Not like, love it. Because I think there's a lot of personal foul penalties. More often than not, it is a personal foul penalty that will change the outcome of a game. That's what I think. I think all of these calls should be reviewable. How do you feel about that?
I like it. I think it definitely needs to be an individual situation where, like you said, like a personal foul has its own charge system or its own review point. Personal fouls, man, they, like you said, they legitimately come at the wrong time all the time, and they decide games. They put you in field goal range, or they put you even closer to scoring a touchdown, or it's just. And a bunch of times, like when you do this a lot of times, like with the personal, when they make the personal foul, they never really want to pull the personal foul call back. Like once they call it, it's called. Like once they call it, it's that. Like that's just what it is. To be able to have a chance to review, this is 15 yards, and with so much action, like so much high-end action nowadays, so much physicality, it's just they're throwing flags right and left. This would be a good situation for the NFL.
Now, go ahead, Miss.
I agreed with the last thing you said before you threw it to Braylon. Everything should be reviewable. Everything. It's your reviews. If you want to use it on a call, use it. Why do they have to dictate what you can and cannot? And then they're going to say, oh, it makes the game longer. Bull crap. First of all, you guys are making the game longer by going under the hood when it takes a split second to go to New York or go up to the booth where the announcers are, where what's his name is always there. What the hell's his name with the nice suits?
Oh, Dean Blend.
Mike Pereira.
Mike
Pereira.
How quick can he make that call?
Yeah.
Within 30 seconds, he could have that call done. Everything should be reviewable.
I think part of it is the theatrics, though. Like I think that's one of the big.
They sell it.
The big exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's what they do. It's the theatrics. They sell it. Like what you said is 100%. Boom. Call happens as soon as they boom, boom, boom in the air. We're good. Okay, cool. After reviewing the play right here, you know what I'm saying. Like the theatrics set it up. If you do it quick like that, people aren't going to believe you really looked at it. You really paid attention to it. You really took the time to assess if that was a call, if it should not have been a call. When they do the theatrics, the ref's doing this, then the ref goes to the sideline, then he gets up under the hood, then he comes back, and then the crowd stops. Like it makes you feel like they looked at the play, although they were looking at a Game Boy.
A couple of the
the screen is 6 inches.
It's like a Game Boy screen.
A couple of the other rules that the Lions have proposed, rules 2 and 3, all kind of the same things. Expand the ability for a third challenge, whatever that means, and expand the replays officials' jurisdiction to allow for consultation regarding penalty assessments. That's all about review.
What we just said.
That is all about review. Expanding the
Get
review.
it right.
Look, there is just too much at stake in the NFL. And I think last year, in professional sports really, but last year specifically, we saw some of the worst officiated games of all time. That Seattle Rams game at the end of the year, it changed the personal foul penalty against the punter roughing the kicker.
Yeah.
Changed the outcome not only of the game, but of a playoff appearance.
Correct.
And perhaps even a Super Bowl. You can laugh at me all you want.
No, they
but
were
you
peaking.
have no idea if the Lions could have gotten to the Super Bowl or not last year. Any team that is in the playoffs could reach the Super Bowl. Or, something could happen. I don't know. Maybe somebody gets hurt.
Would golf have been playing in Ford Field?
Huh?
Would golf have been playing?
No, but I'm saying you don't know if somebody gets.
Ryan,
I know, but like everybody said, they couldn't have gone to San Francisco and won. Maybe Brock Purdy gets hurt on the first series of the game against the Detroit Lions. You just have no idea what happens on any given play, any given moment. So the officials robbed the Detroit Lions of a Super Bowl run. That's just one example. Allow for the replay to happen. Allow for 2 challenges, any 2 challenges you want. If you win one, you keep one. but you don't lose one.
I say you had 3 challenges.
Fine. Deal. I'm in.
Yeah,
just make them quicker.
Typically, whenever a team introduces a suggestion of a rule change,
they got screwed.
Exactly. Yeah. Like whatever their suggestion is, whatever their new proposed plan is, then they felt like it is. They feel like at some point during the year, maybe multiple times, this came up and this prevented the Lions, or this prevented my team from getting to the playoffs. This prevented my team from being where I want to be. And I think he's right. There were some times, some interesting situations. And this is a big one, too, in the NFL.
You heard Kyle Brandt last week really get on a soapbox for the Lions. Kyle Brandt of Good Morning Football on NFL Network. One of the things he said. One of the things he said
Chicago,
was,
I think he was in there.
One of the things he said after Ryan is done. One of the things he said was the Lions were robbed last year of getting into playoffs and making a true run. He said because they really were the hottest team in football and believes could have been a Super Bowl team. That's an outsider. Mm-hmm. That was facts, guys. Like we all tell you. They were peaking last year. We don't know if they're ever going to peak like that at that right time. Again, they were healthy. They were beating teams. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Yeah, they crapped the bed against Carolina. They did. But that's one bump. They get in the playoffs, they would have been trouble.
They definitely have been in trouble, and the big thing about it, and this is, Ryan, you asked that question. You said, the Detroit Lions more like the 1-6 start last year, or are they more like the 8-2 start? Well, the question is 8-2, and we talked about that. Like when you work hard like that, when you're consistent like that, when you completely change on one side of the ball who you are and get much better at that, they're real. And Brandt's right. They botched the rule, they botched that decision, and people can say, hey, well, the Lions, they were 9-8. They didn't get in, they didn't deserve to get in. You know what? If you look at that season last year, I call BS. I think the Lions earned their way into the playoffs last year. It was an ugly start, but I think they earned their way in the playoffs last year. And to your point, you never know what happened. Maybe you go play San Francisco, Brock Purdy gets hurt, you win that game, and you just go up and beat Philly. Hell, who knows? So you're right.
Couple of rule changes going on right now. So the Philadelphia Eagles want to permit the use of the number 0 as a jersey numeral to allow kickers and punters to use any number between 0 and 49 and 90 and 99.
Who cares?
Who cares about that? Like I mean, come on.
Who was bored? Who came up with that rule
Reading
change?
Some of these. I will say one of the rule changes that could affect the game. I forget which team it is, but more players get hurt on the punt and punt return than any other phase of the game or any other segment of the game.
Because it's reckless abandonment.
Right. So they want to cut down on the number of punts. So instead of a touchback being at the 20, they want the touchback at the 25-yard line. That's where the kickoffs are. If you touchback in the NFL, touchback.
You're right. That is confusing.
Yeah.
It used to be easy. It was 20 and 20.
Right. Touchback and kickoff is 25. Well, a punt is the 25 as well. They believe that will make it so that more teams will go for it on 4th down, as if more teams aren't already going for it on 4th down. But that's a way to have fewer punts if you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a big difference. I think a lot of people are like, well, if I'm at the 42-yard line, like, what I want a net gain of 17 yards to get to the 25. You know what I mean? Like, I like that rule change. I'd like to see that.
Here's the thing. Let's just get rid of kickoffs and punts altogether. Let's get rid of field goals too. Let's just say just all touchdowns.
I don't like that.
Just
Want
go
to take
for
foot
it.
out of football?
Exactly. Yeah, let's just make it ball.
Hey, just side note, guys.
That,
XFL game last week. Do you remember the guy who used to kick for the Raiders?
I do.
Marquette.
Yeah, Marquette King.
He was a punter.
He's funny.
He kicked for Vegas, the Vipers, in the XFL, and downed his own punt.
What?
Yeah.
Like
he punted 45 yards, ran down the field, and caught the punt.
Wow. And caught it?
Well, on the bounce.
Oh.
He's a phenomenal athlete. He's a sprinter. He's fast.
How is he not still in the NFL?
Because teams didn't like his antics. Like, when you're a punter, you can't be the most famous person on the team.
Jeez.
Like, you can't. Like, they didn't. I mean, I'm not saying they were bad, but they didn't like his antics. Like, if you're gonna have antics, like if you're gonna be like Chad Ochocinco and have all them antics, you better be the damn best wide receiver in the league. And at times he was. Like, he has all them antics, but he's like a bottom half punter.
I just thought that was really cool.
It was athletic as hell.
Not as cool as this. Move over, Ryan Ermanni. Braylon Edwards has a new friend. We'll let you know who that is. But
and he's got millions of downloads.
A message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. Call this number right here, 1-800-STAY-OUT. That number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Seafood Fest is back at Big Boy. Catch it while you can. Some favorites during Lent, like the shrimp Alfredo, the shrimp stir fry, and the new fish sandwich. You know, Friday nights, you know what they are. It's the all-you-can-eat fish fry buffet, only at your local Big Boy.
Boy, that's right.
Have you taken Lukey to Big Boy lately?
I've not, but Lukey is due for a Big Boy.
What'd you do this weekend with Lukey?
Oh, man. Maz,
tell us.
So I forced my kid to play baseball, T-ball.
You tried, man.
No, I did. So I said, Luke, okay, here's what we got. I said, we'll do something you want to do.
We need that video, Richard. We got to show that video.
We'll do something you want to do, and then we'll do something I want to do.
Yeah.
And so on Saturday, we went to the movies, came right here to Birmingham 8 and saw Puss in Boots. Lukey
I love that
it.
theater.
Loved it.
How about that theater?
Oh, it's a great theater.
Come on.
Lukey loved it. And then on Sunday, we went and I got him cleats, a bat, a helmet.
Cleats?
Yep, because T-ball season's coming up.
All right.
And we went to the ball field. It's amazing. It's so sad. It's just he and I at the ball field. Nobody there.
Wow.
And I put the tee down, and he was
on a
hitting
gorgeous
the bats.
day.
It was fantastic. It was so good. So, yeah, it was good. Hey, we're going to get Rashad Phillips set up here in a moment, but let's right now go around the NFL. Let's do that, and we'll get to know Braylon's new best friend as well. So we'll hear
his cousin.
We'll hear Braylon's brush with one of the most famous people in sports right now. We'll do that next. But, Maz, let's go through the NFL.
All right, let's do that. As far as Lamar Jackson goes, we told you he's seeking a trade from the Ravens. So the 33rd team put out a graphic earlier today saying which offense would he look best with. So take a look at these three offenses there, right?
Yeah, so they've got the Washington Commanders, the Atlanta Falcons, and the Detroit Lions.
Look at that.
How about that? The 33rd team putting that together. Now, a lot of put Lamar Jackson on any one of these teams, and I think they look pretty good. I can't help but look at that bottom row and see how good Lamar Jackson looks in a Detroit Lions uniform. But
look at that
Washington, Braylon mentioned Washington. Washington could be the team. We'll see. We'll find out.
We got our own chocolate city. Look at the bottom.
No, you're right.
there.
Hey, look, Detroit's definitely a black city, but no, like chocolate's an old school term for Washington D.C. It just looks good. Like I was talking about, he looks good on any team. Like it's Lamar Jackson. You talking about guy that won MVP year 2. He looks good on any team. But when I look at it right now, just like what team is ready offensively, the skill position. Like Terry McLaurin is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Jahan Dotson, he had his coming out party last year. Maz, that's your guy at Penn State. Curtis Samuel, I believe, was a reserve Pro Bowler 2-3 years ago. And then Brian Robinson Jr. is a damn good running back as well. You put that's a ton of speed. Because Lamar Jackson probably is going to lose that 20 pounds he gained last year because he looked a little slow. You got 3 guys on that offense right there at 4-3.
Now, there's one team here that said we're out on Lamar, and that was the Falcons. So you look at Washington and look at Detroit, man. I believe. Yeah, have you heard the Lions say no?
No.
Yet?
But you're right about the Falcons. I mean, you guys, we've been talking about this. A lot of smoke screens around this time.
Yep.
A lot of smoke screens. Like, for them to come out that fast. Keep in mind, this was a team last year that was trying to pay Deshaun Watson $245 million or upwards of that. So for them to be out that fast, might be smoke and mirrors.
Hey, Sean Payton. Now, we've been hearing a lot of smoke from Denver with their receivers. They wanted to shop a receiver, want to pick up a draft pick, want to do something else. So word on the street is they're shopping. But Sean Payton says, not so fast, guys. I'm keeping my wide receivers.
Jerry Jeudy's the guy that came out when he came out.
Cortland Sutton.
When he came out of Alabama, you thought he was going to be like dangerous. You just thought he was really going to be that deal. And he's shown that he could be that. A couple injuries here and there, a couple changes in the offense. So he's a good wide receiver. Cortland Sutton's a big wide receiver, fast wide receiver. If you're a new team, or if you're a team and you're trying to get good quick, like you're trying to get back to that spot now, you're not getting rid of two guys that can catch and play ball.
You're not trading your good players.
No.
It doesn't benefit. It does not behoove you to trade your good players.
What? Get rid of them and pick up two guys that are lesser than them?
Right.
Speaking of Denver, back in the day, there was a guy, Derek Wolfe, that played. You guys ever remember Derek Wolfe?
Don't remember him.
Yeah, line.
Okay.
Yeah, line.
All right, check this guy out. This was his pregame routine.
Before games, I was taking microdoses, so I'm microdosed. I'm bleeping taking mushrooms and bleeping Adderall before I play. This is his pregame ritual for the Denver Broncos.
He was saying there were more players than him that were doing and playing under those circumstances.
Such a shame.
You know what it is? It's kind of like if you guys are, I know JB is, if you're a wrestling enthusiast, it's like kayfabe. Like back in the day with kayfabe and wrestling, like all the secrets of the WWF or the WWF. Like you're not going to learn about anything. It's kayfabe. But now, since it's the WWE, it's entertainment, people are telling stories. It's the same thing in the NFL now with mental health being a thing. Now with us, diving into mental health, helping these players out and talking about it and getting information out here. You're going to hear this a lot. I know about a lot of stories, a lot of players and things that they did to get right for games. I mean, Percy Harvin, he came out and talked about he smoked before. Migraine, he smoked before. Marshawn Lynch. I smoked with him
Skittles.
after games.
And Skittles.
It was after games. But he had a shot of Hennessy.
Yeah.
Like he would smoke.
That's right.
He would hit a quarter of a blunt. He'd take a shot of Hennessy and he'd go out there and run everybody over.
Beast mode.
Like it's our guys. It's their process.
One more, Maz. One more.
All right, check this one out, guys. The NFL off-season program dates were released. This is for every team. The Lions are going to start. You ready for this? April 17th. They will have their first off-season meetings and go from there. Let's put up the next graphic too here for the Lions.
You know what was so funny about that, Maz? Everybody's starting date is the same except the worst teams. Like Denver, what they put out there last year, they're on the 11th.
Carolina's
The Cardinals, they're on the 11th. Carolina's on the 10th. All the teams that were historically horrible.
That is funny.
We need extra 6 days.
And here's the Lions dates, Ryan. You can read those.
Lions dates, OTAs, off-season workouts, May 23rd through the 25th, May 31st through June 2nd, and June 12th through the 15th. Mandatory minicamp on June 6th through 8th. We'll see how many players show up to the voluntary OTAs. Guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, one of the greatest athletes our state has seen in the college level, Rashad Phillips. Such a pleasure to watch him at Detroit. We'll get a chance to talk to him and his latest ventures right now. Next, we'll do that. But first, a message from Custom Health Centers. Get a customized approach to weight loss. Think of all the ways that weight affects your health. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Custom Health Centers takes the willpower out of weight loss. Help me in my target goal of 20 pounds.
Looking good over there, buddy.
Thank you, sir. I feel good. Whether it's 20 pounds or 120 pounds, Custom Health Centers has a customized approach for your weight loss needs. Call them today, 844-789-THIN. That number again, 844-789-THIN. Rashad Phillips next.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan.
Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals in town. Plus, they will beat all competitors by $5. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey, welcome back. WoodwardSports.com. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey, and Rashad Phillips from 97 to 01. There was nobody better in this state, man, playing college basketball. One of the greats. Rashad Phillips, Detroit Titans. How you doing, my friend?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me. I like the setup. I told you guys before we went on, it feels like I'm in a concert, like I'm performing.
With the background singer.
That's right.
And as a background singer, I would be remiss if we didn't throw some of them stats out here. We can't just say what's up, Rashad Phillips. One of the coldest players ever come through the city. Like, I guess I get the stats first. You're talking about two-time Horizon College Player of the Year, two-time All-Defensive Team, three-time All. Like, I can go on 3 this, 2 this, 2 this. Finish UAD is one of the best players ever played there. Spencer Haywood among the likes of him. Now Antoine Davis. We'll get into that. Yeah. But you talk about box office, and I heard Stephen A. Smith use this term all the time when he talks about Kyrie or Ja Morant, the brothers box office. Like, the real box office dude was Rashad Phillips, man, and I want to get into something real off the gate. Yep. High school basketball, you talk about the tournament, you talk about it's no longer the star power. I can remember just knowing the whole roster. I remember the high school, back in high school, like the college games weren't the big games to go to. Like back in the day, the high school games were the ones to go to. The best 3 basketball games I have ever been to in high school in my life was one, and it's not in this order, was Orchard Lake St. Mary's and Renaissance. Okay, I was at that one with Ricky Paul and Maurice Seawright. Then I went to saw Clarkston and Central. Oh, so Gates and Dane Fife.
Oh, that's big.
And the best game I have ever seen as a high school game was at Southfield Lathrop in 1997. It was Mike Chappelle versus Rashad Phillips. Mike escaped with the dub. Rashad had 40.
Oh, man.
Wish I could get that W back, though.
This is true. You get older, you start to want the W's. Back then, I was like, shoot, give me 3 touchdowns. I don't care if we lose.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Shai, how you doing, brother?
I'm fantastic, man. The fact that you brought that up, first of all, you made me feel old. All right?
I'm 40 now. I'm old.
We're the same age, man.
It made me feel old. But, again, the high school basketball, the memories playing against so many great players like Mike Chappelle. A lot of people don't know that. Mike Chappelle was signed to go to Duke at that time. So he was a
he went chase Rebecca.
Yeah, he was a 5-star recruit. They also had other great players, Greg Graves, who was lethal, and Reggie Butler and all those guys. And I had Elvin Jones and Jared Stevens and Ray Polk and Amari Rideout. So many wonderful players. And, I mean, that was a fantastic match.
Man, I remember just quickly those high school days. One of my best friend growing up, Greg Stempen, was he played at Harper Woods Notre Dame. And they played Country Day and Shane Battier. And, I mean, those Country Day Battier teams were insane, man.
And 2 of them. It was Jeremy, rest in peace. Yeah, Jeremy Battier and Shane Battier.
Oh, man. Yeah. What are you up to now, Rashad? Give us a quick update of what we'll get to the book momentarily, but give us an update of what you're doing now.
Oh, man, I do a little bit of everything except sell popcorn. But look, so I run. So obviously, I'm still a trainer at heart. I love training kids, and I've started my own consulting firm where I represent a lot of the top college prospects going into the draft. So it's not an agent, but it's more of a liaison to the agent. Yeah. So a consultant, I really love doing that. Because I love giving back to the game.
In your time doing that, what do you think the biggest area for these kids, what they're missing, what they don't know, is there a common theme that these players coming out just have no clue on what to do coming out and looking for an agent or what that next level is like?
Well, I do think in this generation, and I don't want to sound like the old guy here,
but we do all the time. Don't worry.
It's all good. Back in my day.
But
back in my day.
But I think that this generation with social media, it's too microwavable. I think that this generation is being raised off highlights. And there's not enough literature. There's not enough film study going around where these kids can really understand where they're going, where they're headed. So for me, I feel like I'm old school. I do everything by the book. And I feel like when a kid comes to me for advice or a family comes to me for advice, I feel like I've went through those situations. I understand those moments, so I'm able to kind of help them navigate through that process.
No, I understand that. And I actually think this is a very important role nowadays in the NBA, and the reason why is because there's no longer the older guy on the team. Like back in the day, they would have, John Sally played for years just because he was the old guy. They brought him in to talk to Shaq, work with Shaq, teach Shaq proper things. Nowadays, they're not having the old guy. Like Udonis Haslem, once he retires, will be the last. He'll be the last one. So players aren't coming into the league and getting that mentorship or having that older veteran to point them in the right direction to do this. So it's very important that they get like a guy like Rashad Phillips to do it beforehand, because they're not going to get that in the league. Everybody trying to get that money. Everybody's for self in the league.
Yeah, that's so true.
Do you get a sense that these guys are coachable, this new generation?
I would say they are. I mean, I've dealt with a lot of these kids that are in the NBA right now, the superstars, and the guys that I've dealt with are very coachable. I think as a whole, we've been taught, they've been taught, not we, they've been taught this sort of individuality to be able to express yourself and have a little bit more individualism with that. But they're very coachable. I'm not going to say that they're not.
Rashad, how's it work with the NIL now? Because that throws a whole new wrench into what you're trying to do.
Yeah, well, that's what makes me important now. That's why, for me, starting my own consulting firm was important, because now these kids need to be informed on how the NIL works and putting them in the right situations to be able to go to the right school, sign the right deals. And a lot of things that I preach with my kids is, hey, let's find the right fit for you. Let's not get caught up in the dollar amount. And understand that you're a collegiate athlete and you still have an obligation to that school to perform and not get caught up in all the money.
Yeah, 100%. But enough of the money and the aspects of that game. Let's get into the actual game itself. I remember going to Jay Zoo in '95. Jay Zoo's on 6 Mile, Illinois, right across the street from Callahan Hall, which you made that your home for sure. I remember going to those games. It was if you've never been to a game at Callahan Hall, like when it's cracking, like you can smell the popcorn from the parking lot. You walk in, like it's the perfect intimate gym for like UD merchandise. It's really nothing like watching a great game at Callahan. So going to see you a bunch of times, I'm watching this cat with just swag and coming up the court, pulling. He had Coach Watson let him talking about freedom, but letting you pull from half. Look where the game is now. Wow. I'm just looking at where the game is now. Like look at the evolution of the 3-pointer. I saw you shooting some of those back then.
They didn't like that.
And now you won't get pulled out no more. They're encouraging you to do that. And you look at Antoine Davis, who finished a brilliant career at University of Detroit. We had him on the show. Like he just almost broke the Division I scoring title in terms of most points in a career. Like I was looking at yours and I'm looking at his. He's like 3,369. You're 23 and 30. And you played 4 more games than him.
I did not know that.
You didn't know that, did you?
I did not know that.
I got it done.
That's
right.
An interesting stat.
I got it done right here. He beat you by 5 games. Excuse me. He played 149. You played 144.
Wow. He had a whole year.
He's got you. He played 2 whole years. He was in school for 10 years. But that's the evolution of the 3-pointer.
It is, man.
It's the evolution. Wow. 1,000 more points and only 5 more games played. He ain't shooting no twos.
Where were you on the whole scoring leader thing? Should they have played that extra game or gotten invited to that tournament? What did you make of that?
I'm pro scorer.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see him go for it. Like I'm pro scorer, and obviously I'm biased, right? It's my university. It's a kid that has been around. I just God rest his soul, Pistol Pete, one of the greatest of all time. To see his numbers where they're at, only playing 3 years. You're talking about games played.
No 3-pointers.
Took more shots than Antoine Davis.
Still, only 3 years. It's just ridiculous what he did. So, I mean, hats off to Antoine to be in the same sentence as Pistol Pete. He's a wonderful kid. His career is just beginning. I'm excited to see what NBA team gives him a chance.
Can I ask you about that? Quick, when you came out of UAD or UDM, the kids from the smaller school, the players from the smaller school, it was, oh my gosh, Wally Zerbiak from Miami of Ohio is going to the NBA. Yeah. Oh my God, I see a smirk on your face. But it wasn't
Mark Madsen.
There weren't a ton of guys from smaller schools going to the NBA.
No, it's true.
Now the floodgates are totally. It doesn't matter where you play. You could play anywhere. Yeah. It doesn't matter. What do you make of that change in the game, and how will Antoine's game? Because Antoine will have a better chance to go to the NBA than you did, even.
Oh, it's not even close.
Right.
It's not even close. Yeah. So the first people I'm gonna blame is my parents. Okay, my mom's over there, right? So,
hey, mom, she didn't mean that.
So,
he didn't mean that.
Yeah, I was born 20 years early.
Yeah, right. That's what I say too.
Me too.
Yeah, I was a little bit before my time. Okay, but.
I was born 20 years too late for the television salaries.
Man, they getting paid today.
Christian Kirk makes $24 million a year.
Yeah, man. But secondly, I look at social media.
Yeah, didn't have to deal with that.
So for me, being a NBA evaluator, prospect evaluator, I was able to put Ja Morant's visuals out there for him. Mm-hmm. And once that went out there, stuff started going viral. Mm-hmm. So the mid-major players have their own platforms and voices for them where the world can see their clips right away. Mm. When I was coming out, it was VHS tape. So if the Lakers wanted to see Rashad Phillips, my coach had to mail the VHS tape to LA and hope that it goes through everything and they get the tape and watch it.
And it doesn't get damaged.
But when now as an NBA scout, what you can do is you can just click on Twitter and Instagram and see Ja Morant highlights instantly and say, I want that kid from Murray State. Yep. So that social media has closed the gap. So again, my career just got lost in translation. And again, I blame my parents.
Yeah. Speaking of your career and speaking of your voice, tell us about the book. The Evolution is Being Televised, Basketball Position Metric. You didn't know this.
Show him the book.
You didn't realize this is my cousin, by the way.
Yeah, we don't tell everybody that.
I ruined it.
Yeah, you ruined it.
Yeah, my mom.
Hold the book cover up for you.
Here you go, right here. Rashad
Basketball Position
Phillips.
Metric. Why'd you write it, and what's it about?
So obviously the reason I wrote the book is I had to reflect on my career as a player, and when I look back at my game, it was kind of before its time, like I said before. And when you look at basketball, there's a little bit of a malpractice when it comes to positioning and identity.
Yeah.
I was put in this box of, if you don't play the point guard the right way, you will not have a chance to play at the NBA. Oh, he's too small, so he's not really a point guard because he's shooting from 30 feet. Well, he can't be a shooting guard because he's too small. He can't be a point guard because he doesn't pass enough. So I was able to kind of look at the landscape of basketball and say, hey, we need to update the terminology of positions. The 5 traditional positions is outdated.
Yeah.
We need to update everything. We look at phones. We look at cars. Everything's updated. And I felt that the terminology, we were still operating as a basketball society with the frozen template. And I wanted to create a new template for the game of basketball, and that's what made me write the book.
That's fantastic stuff, man.
And tonight you're going to be at Little Caesars Arena.
Tonight I'll be at Little Caesars Arena, having my first book signing.
Wow. What's that mean to you?
Congrats on that, brother.
And that is just, it's fantastic. Just, being a hometown kid, watching the Detroit Pistons, studying Isaiah Thomas growing up, and just, really just loving the game. To be in my hometown signing books is just something I never thought would happen.
Just want to let everybody know, if you're doing audio only, you can get a signed copy of Rashad's new book, Basketball Position Metric. The Evolution is being televised. The signing is from 5:30 to 7 in Heritage Hall. Detroit Pistons Milwaukee Bucks game is at 7. North Club access includes all-you-can-eat food and beverage. North Club access. Man, that's fantastic. That is so cool.
I got to tell one of my favorite Rashad stories. I tell this story actually a lot. So in 97, it was 97, right, Rashad?
Yeah, 97.
Yeah, 97. Rashad's a senior, his last year at Ferndale. The night before I think it was the night before the morning of the Round Ball Classic.
96.
96, exactly. It was 96 the year he came out. That's right. 96, and so I think you got a phone. Somebody pulled out a Round Ball Classic. It was just quick story. Round Ball Classic at that time was under the McDonald's All-American. It was a McDonald's All-American, and then Magic's game was.
I remember that.
So
Magic
like
Round Ball Classic.
Exactly. So everybody played at the Magic Round Ball Classic. I think you got a call the night before.
Yeah.
Gets a call the night before. Gets up, gets to the Palace. I was in attendance. Gets to the Palace. Get there. It's like, man, I ain't practicing with team. I don't know what's going on, but gets there. Kobe Bryant's in this game. Like, Tim Thomas was the #1 player in the country. Tim Thomas is in this game. It's some legends in this game. Shy gets there late. Ask Shy who walked home with the MVP trophy.
Well, I ended up winning MVP.
Let's go!
And I ended up starting as well. So that was just a testament to, again, being unranked, having that chip on your shoulder. And I knew in my heart that I can play with anybody in the country. Where I come from, the way my dad kind of gave me that outlet. I knew that if you line me across any other basketball player, then I would hold my own. But I did more than hold my own that day.
Damn right you did.
And it was fun.
And be ready. Always be ready.
Always be ready.
He doesn't know that, but that right there, like, it gave me motivation for my kind of journey. So when I got to Michigan, I was a 3-star. Like, you know how it is, the star system. Like, back then, the star system is everything. Like, you feel like you really feel like a 3. You feel inferior. So when I saw him bust Kobe ass, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, shoot, when I get to Michigan, I don't care about them stars. You're going to feel it.
Yes, sir. You did that. Rashad, have you ever seen a Final Four like you're seeing right now?
I have not, and I love it.
I know. Yeah. You would, because you got these
I'm a mid-major guy, right?
You got it. Love it. This is it, man. This reminds me of almost like the NIT, except for UConn.
So here's why, though. We have to understand that the transfer portal has gave college basketball more parity.
Yeah.
You gotta embrace parity, and you gotta evolve. See, the old days is always Duke, Kentucky,
North Carolina.
There's no number ones.
North Carolina.
There's always that, but now with that's part of evolution. Like, we have to embrace these mid-major kids can play, man. These kids can play.
The evolution is being televised.
Who's gonna win?
Man,
Miami.
Woo! I live in Florida, so there's 2 Florida teams left. I'm gonna go.
I'm
going FAU.
All right.
FAU's going
Owls.
Rashad Phillips, get the book, guys. Basketball Position Metric by Rashad Phillips. Anywhere books are sold?
Yeah, you can go on Weber Publishing Group.com.
Weber Publishing Group.com. Weber Publishing Group.com.
And that's Chris Webber if you want to know where that Weber comes from.
There you go. We know that name around here.
All right, just make sure you guys know
I
that
love
name.
it. I love it. Sounds like a plan to me. Thanks so much, Rashad. We got to get to a break. Come right back. When we do, back to wrap it up. But first, a message from Fairway Packing Company. Looking for a way to elevate your dinner? Choose Fairway Packing Company, family owned and operated since 1956. You can try their burrata blend burgers, the award-winning chop house steaks, or impress your friends with a dry-aged Wagyu tomahawk steak. See why the top chefs in the country choose Fairway. You can visit their steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods. You can order online. They ship anywhere. Fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com. Source, cut, aged, packed to perfection.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are. We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Welcome back, WoodwardSports.com. How cool was that to see number 3 in the house?
Boy, UND is a lucky school.
Absolutely. I mean, they have had tremendous athletes at that school. Tremendous athletes.
I would love to see a renaissance there, man. I would
No
love
doubt.
to see them
No doubt,
be back
man.
on the right back where they belong.
I mean, to have Callahan packed. I mean, they made the tournament one of those years. I mean, remember that one? I think Michigan State, UAD, and Eastern Michigan were all in the NCAA tournament. I don't know if you guys remember that or not. Like John Zajac at Eastern Michigan from St. Clair Shores, Lakeshore. He was there.
Really? Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, it was so cool, but so good to have Rashad Phillips here. The book, Basketball Position Metric, The Evolution, is being televised. So
you know what this week is, right?
What's that?
It is opening day week.
Yeah, interesting,
baseball.
huh? And it's gonna be eye-opening, I think, to a lot of people with all the different rules and everything like that in Major League Baseball.
You just might get to love baseball again, gang. Or if you haven't liked it, it's boring to you. You might want to give it a shot. They did 2-hour and 8-minute spring training games this year. 2-hour and 8 minutes. That cuts an hour off the game.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the pitching clock and all of that kind of stuff, getting in that batter's box. You just might come to enjoy these new rules.
Just like Braylon Edwards. Just like Braylon Edwards.
Tigers open in Tampa,
Just like
by the
Braylon
way.
Edwards what?
Having fun.
Oh, you gotta have fun in life, man.
Yeah.
It was good to see my cousin. I haven't seen him in a while, man. And
he's so likable.
Like he's for sure.
He's so good.
He's always been that way. Like they used to call him Baby Iverson. He wore 3. Just at the same time as AI is at Georgetown. Same year AI gets drafted. The one thing we didn't talk about. Like, you talking about UAD and the small schools. Oh, UAD got some W's when he was there in the tournament. They popped UCLA in the tournament, and this when UCLA was a 2 seed. They were like Toby Bailey and those guys.
Toby Bailey?
They whooped them by 17.
I remember.
And they beat St. John's with Felipe Lopez.
I remember Toby Bailey.
He got some W's.
No doubt about it. You mentioned Tigers. They open up on the road. Eduardo Rodriguez gets to start for Detroit on opening day.
He's not MIA
They
anymore?
did find him.
He's not AWOL?
Tigers and Rays. Thursday, 3:10 first pitch. Shane McClanahan. Good Irish
You know
mate.
what that means? We're going to be the only show in town.
That's right.
That's what that means. That's what Tiger baseball means.
Can't wait for that. So
Tiger
all good,
baseball.
guys. A good show today, gang.
I can't wait to do my well, I guess we've only done it 1 year, so this will be my now annual binge the night before, so I'm caught up on the Detroit.
There you go. All right, gang, get us out of here, Bray.
Hell of a show, man. One thing about doing these shows, man, we always try to have people on that are likable, that are from the city from time to time. So to have my cousin Rashad Phillips, the Detroit legend, man, come up here and be on the show, that was dope. See what he's doing. Get a chance, pick his book up. I think it's dope. It's a great conversation because he's right. I saw a lineup last year in NBA playoffs where, like, the tallest dude on the court was 6'6".
No doubt.
The tallest dude on the court was 6'6", so he's actually right. The positions have changed, so you got to get it out there. Great opening day, man. A lot to talk about. Like I said, we will talk about the last half of the draft because now it's time to figure out who are those diamonds in the rough.
I can't believe we did not mention the draft today. Can you believe it?
You know
we made an entire show without talking about the draft.
I'm
I
shocked.
want you all to recognize that today.
We're back at it tomorrow.
We're back. Mock draft 7.2.
Yes, can't wait.
JB Fletch, we out of here.
Hi, I'm Rashad Phillips of Sports Talk 2319, and I am so excited for this upcoming week. Listen up, March 27th, 5:30 p.m. at Little Caesars Arena in Heritage Hall. I'll be there signing off my new book, The Evolution is being televised. Now, in order to get this book and watch the Pistons take on the Milwaukee Bucks, you have to go to fevo.me/Phillips. There you'll be able to purchase a ticket in levels 202, 203, 204, 205, all excellent seating to watch the Pistons take on Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. only $56. Now, here's what it includes. It includes a signed book by me, obviously a ticket to watch the game, and you're able to eat and drink at North End Upper Club, all included. I can't wait to see you guys Monday at 5:30 p.m. at Heritage Hall at Little Caesars Arena. I'm Rashad Phillips of Sports Talk 2319. I'll see you all Monday. Talk soon.